watching the August garden tour video. I said in that one that we were going to do some preserving together, but it was getting kind of long, so I figured I'd just make a whole separate video. And today we are going to pickle up these huge cucumbers I just picked from the garden, and also these watermelon radishes. Because honestly, I don't know what else to do with radishes other than pickle them, because they don't taste very good raw. So if you have another recommendation or a recipe of how you use it for radishes, please let me know, because a lot are about to ripen out there. But we're doing a little bit of pickling, and then we're also making some more vanilla extract. I started this one a couple of days ago because I want to give them away for Christmas, and it takes about 6 months to make. So I made a couple small ones, but I'm going to make a big one for me and my wife today. And luckily for that, all you need is vanilla and a little bit of vodka. So we have our hands full. Oh, and also, I almost forgot. We have some herbs we are going to dry. I just picked some rosemary and thyme from the garden, so I'm going to get these downstairs where I have a drying rack on my squat rack. So we have quite a bit to do today in the kitchen, and I'm excited for it. And send me good vibes, because I have never pickled anything before. But I have this book from Ball. It's called Complete Home Preserving, with a million recipes. So I feel like I got this. I got this. Give me a thumbs up if you think I've got this, or leave tips in the comments if you think I don't got this. So for the pickles, I'm going to be using this refrigerated dill slice recipe. It's on page 288, but I'm using it because you don't have to hot process the jars after you put the pickles in, which I don't have a pressure canner or even really a pot big enough to do that. I just have my largest one here, so I'm going to sterilize the jars, just, you know, keep everything as clean as possible, and luckily they're in the fridge, and they're supposed to last for a couple months in the fridge. So let's see if this works. And then I'll probably also use the same recipe for the radishes, which these are so pretty. They're so pretty. Okay, here we go. So once this has boiled for 10 minutes, all you do is take this vinegar and pickling mixture and pour it over your cucumbers. And then if there's enough, I'm going to use the same stuff for the radishes right there, which I don't think would be enough. So it looks like I'm making another batch. And then this sits for about 30 minutes covered. So in the meantime, I'm going to work on pickling these radishes, doing the vanilla extract, and also sterilizing the jars in that pot for these guys. It's a lot of work. I have a lot of respect for people who had to do this like their entire lives, like grow their own food and preserve it. Like, I'm just making pickles. I could just imagine having to do this for your entire family, the entire year. While I'm waiting for those jars to dry and cool off a bit, I'm going to take these herbs down to the basement so I can start drying them. So we keep our drying rack here hanging from our squat rack because it happens to be the perfect height. And it has, I think, 8 different compartments. Right now I have some more rosemary and thyme in there, a little bit of mullein. So I'm going to get these babies in, and they'll be ready in about 2 weeks, I think. I wish you could smell it. It's so good. I think I just lost a piece of thyme, but it smells so good. So this is how it looks when it first goes in. The only thing you want to be careful of is make sure everything's on a single layer and not touching. And then after 2 weeks, it'll be dried and look something like this. And then you just put it in a jar and you have your own dried herbs. So the ones I had down there drying from a couple weeks ago actually look really good. So I'm going to get them into these jars and saved in my pantry before moving on to the rest of the preserving and whatnot. A quick side note while I do this. If you follow me over on Instagram, then you may have seen that I have been embracing slow living more and more these days. And honestly, this entire day of harvesting and preserving gives me such a deep appreciation for where our food comes from and how it gets onto our plates, which is really the whole point of slow living, to acknowledge and appreciate those magical parts of life. So, if you haven't started a garden or tried preserving your own food or found some other hobby that forces you to slow down and savor the little things, I hope this video will be your inspiration to start. We're good. I was right, Danny. We're good. We're good. All right, now that we have our clean jars, I'm going to try to shove as many cucumbers as I can in them, and then pour this liquid over top, and then it just chills in the fridge for a couple days, and that's it. And for the radishes, I actually ended up using a different recipe, which I will put in the description below. Let's see, can I pour this perfectly? All right, it is time for the last thing on this list. Make some more vanilla extract. Luckily, this one is the simplest. It's literally just vanilla beans, which I got these off of Amazon. I'll link them below if you want to make this yourself, and some vodka. So I'm just going to clean my jars and get to it. So when it comes to vanilla extract, there's no real recipe. It's more so a ratio of how many vanilla beans you are using per ounce of vodka. So for example, this one that I already made, I believe is 4 ounces. So I did 1.5 vanilla beans. This jar that I'm making for my wife and I is obviously a lot bigger, so I'll put more in here. But it's really how flavorful you want it, but also the longer you let it sit, the more flavorful it will be. So it really depends. But the only thing you really need to make sure you do in this is split open the vanilla beans, because this is like a hard pod. So you have to split this open. You don't need to scrape it out like you see them do in cooking shows, but you do have to split it open and like reveal the vanilla bean goodness. And they are a little bit tough, so like may take a bit of work, but that is what the inside looks like. And then you just place it in your jar. And that is it. Like I said, this has to sit for 6 months. It'll start looking like this after a couple days, and you're supposed to shake it once a week, and then just leave it in a dark room, and you'll have vanilla extract by next year. And with that, I think we are done for the day. So I hope you had fun preserving, pickling, extracting, drying herbs with me, and watching this video. I certainly enjoyed making it, and I'm going to get this stuff down into the pantry and the fridge for it to finish up. So I'll see you another day for another video.